Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Namaste experience. I was just talking about that experience of being awake now. And, there is that time to this morning for me, it was longer than usual, where you're awake, but you're not awake. You know what I mean? Where you kind of refuse to get up, even though you keep hitting that snooze button, and there's part of you that's awake and part of you that just wants to stay in that bed. 10 more minutes, please. That's kind of what we're doing, or what often happens here in this state where we know there is something that has risen within us that knows what it means to be wide awake and to see only reality, to see through the eyes of the Christ. And then there's the other part of us that says, just give me 10 more minutes in the illusion. Just give me a little while longer to sleep until finally you say, okay, I've got to get up. I mean, it's 8 o'clock. My God, I've got to get over there. And then we stand, we splash some water in our face, we brush our teeth, and we're ready to go. And I think this is comparable because in this back and forth experience, the preparation to being fully awake, to being fully realized, to experiencing the reality that is forever real. There is that back and forth between the sleep of the dream and being wide awake. All we really know now is that being wide awake offers us something that the dream never can. Being wide awake offers us an experience that is so fully and wholly beyond the dream. I don't remember what my dreams were last night, but I do remember that they were kind of crazy. There was some stuff going on, and it's gone now, but I can still feel the residue of that strange, bizarre dream. But now I don't need to remember. I don't need to hold on to any of that. I can simply rest in this experience of being awake. And it's the same when we wake up. I remember I've spoken about this before, the first time, excuse me, the first time that realization struck like lightning. You may have remembered that story. I was in a phone booth and I stepped into the phone booth, and there was one little trigger. Someone had written on the inside of the phone booth, uh, God is real. And that boom, suddenly that spark just hit me. It was always there, but suddenly I opened my eyes and I was able to see for the first time, and it was so shockingly beautiful. And the first thought that came to me was, you mean this has always been here? You mean I could have done this at any moment? I could have opened my eyes at any moment to see what was always there, the beauty, the grace, the harmony that is always present. And yet still we fall back into the confusion of wondering, am I doing this right? Am I getting this right? Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about that today, because I had another experience yesterday that I wanted to share. And I thought I would just talk about this and see where it goes. I don't really even know where it's going to go, but over in my room, I have a record player. Do you guys remember those record players? I brought this back a few months ago with a few albums, some of my favorites that I still had at the house. And for Christmas, my daughter gave me a gift card for a record shop in Portland. And so I took that card over to the shop right before I left a week or so ago. And I was able to buy 3 albums and bring them back. And so they're usually used albums. And I put one on yesterday. I think it was a Bob Dylan album. And I'm listening to it and really enjoying it. There's a quality to the sound of a record player, a warmth to that analog that you don't get in the perfection of the digital. So I'm just feeling that warmth, And then a song ended, and there was, 4 or 5 seconds before the next song started. And what did I hear? Little cracks, little pops, little sounds. And then the next song started. And in those little cracks, those little imperfections, there was something that I experienced and felt that I don't feel in the so-called perfect world of digital, right? Where everything is perfect. It can never change. There are never any pops or cracks or scratches. It is always going to be what it's always going to be. And we might think that that is what perfection is, just as we might think that there is a point in which we have arrived at a state of perfection in which we pretend to be enlightened. You ever experienced that or known or seen that? Where someone puts on the garment of enlightenment rather than embrace those little pops and scratches, the imperfect perfect that transcends any idea that I have of what it means to be awake or enlightened, that where I am embracing every part of myself, including those little pops and scratches that seem to be less than. In reality, they're everything. And when I'm able to feel that and to sense that within myself, guess what? I'm able to do the same for you. I'm able to see you as whole and perfect, even with your scratches, even with your pops, even with the times in which you may not be acting that level of perfect that we would usually want or expect or even need, but exactly as you are. And this is one of our primary teachings, exactly as it is right now. I don't need to change anything. I don't need to do anything. I just need to accept it exactly as it is. And to know that exactly as it is perfect. Those little pops, those little sounds, those little scratches even in our own life, they don't change our perfection. They don't change who we are in reality. And it's through embracing them in ourselves and in each other that we're able to embrace the divine. So this is our jumping off point. And I thought what I'll do is a little bit different. I'm going to go to Vicky first and have Vicky share a little bit about that. And then I'll come back and then we'll bring Calico on. So Vicky and I just have a way of bouncing off each other. So I'm really curious to hear what she's going to say about that. So Vicky, go right ahead.
Okay, Brother James. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So when you were speaking, it, of course, because it's all over the news, brought my mind to the fires that are happening in California. And I realized that the pops in time may look like a fire, or it may look like a war, or it may look like a volcano happening somewhere. But in those moments where we have that shift and we kind of pop beyond the time space into that other dimension, we see how nothing can affect that reality. Nothing. And it's time we live that way. So I have two things I wanted to share, and I'll do it quickly.
Hold on one second, Vicky. Hold
Go
on.
ahead.
I don't know if you can hear that music in the background, but
Oh
suddenly
no, what is it?
right right in the midst of your beautiful share, this lovely music started again. So let me stop that. There we go.
It
Okay.
doesn't matter. It's part of it.
It's all part of it.
That's
Suddenly
what's
the
so
band
ready
begins
to
to play.
celebrate. Yes.
All right,
It's
go right ahead.
so, but I have to say this though, because I had an experience of what you were talking about yesterday about devotion. Remember, we were talking about devotion? So, I have a dear cousin that lives in the California area where the fires are in Hollywood. And I called her, "Are you all right?" And she said, "Oh, yes." And within our conversation, in 15 minutes, the wind changed and they evacuated her because it was coming into that part of Hollywood that she's in. So So I'm with her on the phone. The wind's changed, and she goes to the car. She calls me back when she's in the car, and she said, "Well, you know what I brought? I brought underwear, and all I brought were my Saint Teresa relics." She's a very devout Saint Therese sister, and she didn't bring any clothes. She didn't bring any water. She had some first level relics. She said, "I grabbed all those relics and I went right to the car." And I thought, oh my God, that's a sister. That's great. That's all you need. But then the second thing that happened, so then it was fine. She was naturally guided. Now, this isn't someone that does this kind, she's very conventionally Catholic, not someone that would be interested in the course or any of that. But because she lives in the love of God, she was just guided to take it easy. She was comfortable. She wasn't frightened. And she knew right where to go. I'm going to go to the airport hotel, and she stayed at the Hilton. But and she's fine. And I talked to her when she got there. Anyway, this morning, this is such a perfect message. Linda, who's right here in our family, Linda Flock, put on a chat this message about the fires. But this is the message about everything. And it's simple. It's really time to stand in the truth and let go of the illusion of pain and suffering. We must remember we are holy beings held in the love of God no matter what happens around us. We also must love and support each other through these circumstances. All things are possible with God. I love each of you so much. I believe in you, in your relationship with the life energy we call God or love. Thank you, Linda. I really thank you for saying it so simply and so perfectly. But there are going to be pops and whistles blowing and things falling apart wherever we step in time. And then, as I was speaking to Linda, the fire, when I could see it for a moment, I saw, just like in the background of Linda, for those of you that can look on Zoom, she has angels swirling by her in the back. And I felt like the images that we call obstructions, the pops, the fires, the volcanoes, the eruptions, are nothing in essence other than the winds of love, like these angels floating by, bringing in a fuller experience of love. There can only be greater extension of love. It's the law of what we are. The appearances that we have projected out, as we take responsibility for them and let them fall away, and let our awareness go to the reality of love that's underneath everything, and take a stand. Take a stand there. We come into an experience of safety, of joy, of peace, of just wanting to give of that certainty, perhaps quietly, perhaps in a song, in a writing. So that's what I would say this morning, Brother James. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vicky. You know, as you were speaking, I realized that this is perhaps the most challenging spiritual reality or experience that we are called to embrace. And that is the experience of even this, no matter what. Okay. In the situation of the fire, can we embrace even that? In our own little pops and scratches in our lives, can we say, even this is part of the awakening? In fact, there comes a moment where all of those things coalesce, they come together, they come into a harmonic flow. In spite of the trauma, the drama, all of the difficulties that seem to be happening, and we come into a direct experience, but only when we can fully embrace even this. So this morning, I was reading a little bit of Joel Goldsmith right before this session, and I came across this paragraph. He said, "One day something happens within. Consciousness expands and sees that which before was invisible. One feels a flow of warmth, a presence never before known becomes tangible and very real. This often is a fleeting experience. One may not even be certain that it occurred. It lingers in memory, but more as a dream than an actuality, until it happens again. And this time more clearly, more definite, and perhaps lasting longer. Gradually, there dawns in consciousness the realization of a presence always present. This presence may be felt as if lurking in the background of one's consciousness. At times, it becomes a very commanding presence, dominating the scene or the experience of the moment. Even this, that's the button. That's the button that we push that makes the elevator go up. Imagine going into an elevator and the only button that's there is even this. What do you mean? I have a cold this morning. I'm not really feeling all that well. No, even this, push that button. And when you do, that elevator begins to ascend. And then you get right to the top and the door opens and there's the plank. Those of you who know what the plank is, like, even this, I've got to walk out on that plank into midair. Yeah, because you never left the ground. You never really left heaven. You've been held and protected the whole time. So Calico, take it from there.
This whole thing is just the development of trust. Trusting God, not trusting what I see. And, in the Course, it says somewhere, I can't remember where, Jesus was talking about, as the light gets brighter, the world will appear darker. And it's just the reality of having light, you're going to have darkness that seems to intensify. But the reality is it's all for us to wake up to. It's, these little cracks. I can't remember that Japanese art of filling in cracks in pottery with gold. These little cracks like the fires and, tornadoes and wars and everything are the cracks we get to fill with gold. And it's by, what Joel was talking about, James, for me in that share, he was describing a miracle. And it's like, so I know when I'm in the miracle, I have that experience. And I just want to finish with this little end thing that, it was on Facebook, but I couldn't share it. This year, I want to be more like Jesus. Number one, hang out with sinners. Okay? Hang out with sinners, because what a perfect way to bring the light, because everything's our lesson. Two, upset religious people. Three, tell stories that make people think. Four, choose unpopular friends. How is that? Perfect. Again, the lessons that you gain from that are better than the agreement that you have with someone that you love. Okay. Next one, choose unpopular. Be kind, loving, and merciful. And the last one, take naps on boats. So I just had to offer that. There's many ways of seeing disasters, and they're all perfect lessons. That's really the main thing. It's about trusting God. Oh my God, look what's happening. Look what's happening. Oh, wait, no, I'm perfect. God's got me. It's mine to go into meditation, to fall into bed, get back into peace, whatever it takes. Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you, Calico. So when you begin to hear those little pops and scratches in your own life or in the life of another, rejoice. Give thanks, because this is the reminder to embrace even this. And it's through the embrace of even this that all of it comes in. It's like suddenly a flood of grace comes flowing into your consciousness. Because until then, you're trying to hold it back. And no, it needs to be like this. It needs to look a certain way. I need to act in a certain way in order to be holy or whatever, any idea that I have. No, last night I did something that I think it's good once in a while. I was sitting at the table after dinner with a few people, and I told a few off-color jokes. Now, there's a part of me and others who would think, you can't tell a dirty joke. That is not a very spiritual thing to do. Well, who says? Even this, even an off-color joke is just a reminder that we're right here, we are ready, and we're awake. So with that, I'm going to invite Scott to come up, and what? Yeah, come on. Come on up. We're going to have you wrap it up.
Give me some something from your talk that you want me to start with.
How about embrace the pops and scratches of your life?
Oh boy.
Can you do that?
You betcha.
Turn the sound right on. There you go. All right, take it away.
What if the pops and scratches help my nervous system relax and let go even more? Even when I'm not sure it's all okay. Who wants the digital sound? If there's no spice around, that's not my idea of perfection anyway. Let it all turn to dust so I can trust and see God's grace in disasters and fuss. It's all okay. The world can interfere with my happiness, 'cause even this helps me wake up to your love, wake up to your grace. I love seeing wrinkles grow on my face. Nothing is threatened, nothing's to blame. I see the changeless when things change. Even this takes me into your bliss. Even this fire, even these flames, they can only burn till truth remains. Illusions must burn so idols can fall. When all is burnt, I see the beauty of it all. One thing can't burn, I'm here to learn what can never burn.
Wow, quite amazing. Thank you, Scott. Wow. So let's embrace it today, whatever it is. Just have those words. Even this is part of the awakening. Everything conspires to the awakening if I'm able, and choose to see it. And to that we say, Amen, 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 Punto. Namaste, everyone. Have a beautiful day. Adios.